if you ride your bike like a regular human being, 9 times out of 10, it's rattled at one point, stopped working right at one point, and or just doesn't feel right. That means it needs to be maintained. Doesn't matter how new your bike is, how old your bike is, what parts are on your bike, or who built your bike, at some point it will need maintenance. So that's why I'm here giving you this video. I'm going to tell you 5 things you can do or you should do every time before you go ride to keep your bike dialed and feeling nice. The only things you will need to keep your bike feeling brand new is a 6, an 8, or 5, a 17, and a spoke wrench or pump if your tires are low on air pressure. The first thing you can do, or the first thing you should do before riding your bike is, you know, the dial test. You pick it up, you drop it, and if it makes a noise, you figure out what that noise is and fix it. That's the first thing you should do. Do the dial drop test, make sure there's no rattling, no creaking, whatever. The second thing you should do is make sure that every spot that has an Allen or 17, make sure it's tightened. Not too tight, not too loose. Make sure it's snug, because unfortunately when you do ride, some things do become loose. Every time I ride my bike, I know either my crank bolt is loose, my sprocket bolt is loose, my compression cap is loose, my back wheel is loose. Something on my bike is loose every time I ride. Let's be real here. How many of you fill up your tires before a session? By raise your hands in the comments, how many of you fill up your tires before a session? Or how many of you know that after you ride, your tires lose air pressure, or that when you take it in and out of your house, the pressure shifts? Not a lot of you, huh? Well, yeah, make sure, just check your tires, squeeze on them, make sure they're how they were, or how you like it before you go ride. I know my tires, they lose like 5 psi after every session, so I just grab my pump, fill them up, and boom, as simple as that. Also, before you go ride, check your tires, make sure there's no holes, nails, glass, whatever. Make sure you don't have a slow leak. Make sure the tire is in the rim and there's nothing poking out, because I've had experiences where after a session it's held up, but when I went to go ride again, I never checked the rim and it blew up on me and it scared the living shit out of me. So do that and you'd be straight. The fourth thing you should do is, it's a little bit of a pesky thing to do. You don't have to do it every time, but like once every week or every 2 weeks, make sure everything is greased up, because believe it or not, things like pedals, especially pedals and like headsets, they can seize up when there's not enough grease in them. And as you like ride your bike, grease wears away. Not very often, but I recommend you do check, and if need be, re-grease some of your metal to metal contacts, because having seized up parts sucks getting them off, and no one wants to deal with that. So make sure your parts are greased decently. Last thing, and probably one of the most important things, is checking your spokes in your wheels. I know when I first started riding bikes, I was like, do we even check the spokes on our wheels? Like, who does that? Like, what is the purpose? But as I've gotten better and learned more about BMX, checking the spokes on your wheels are very important, because it's what honestly makes or break. Makes or break. It's what determines how well your bike feels when you go ride it. I know that when I have tight spokes, my wheel feels smooth and dialed, and when I have like 1 or 2 loose spokes, I feels like I'm riding on a boat. I'm rocking and I'm seasick and I don't like it. So pick up a $3 spoke wrench from your local bike shop or something. Just roll your wheels, squeeze them. If it feels loose, give it a half turn and just keep going. Do the same for the other side. And honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just making sure that they're tight enough to where they're not going clink, 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 clink when you're pedaling. Because first of all, that noise is annoying. I don't want to hear that noise when I'm riding with you. Number 2, it just makes your bike feel better. It gives you more confidence, because you know you're not going to break a spoke when you go do a 180 down a curb. So make sure your wheels are not trued, but your spokes are tight enough to that where they're not making that broken grater sound. Bonus tip. This goes for all of my impatient bike rage guys. Number 6 of things you should do when before riding a bike, or even riding your bike. Don't throw it, okay? Do me a favor and don't throw your bike. I know you can't be talking, Tug. You can't be talking, Tug. You throw your bike all the time. Okay, well, I'm stopping. Don't throw your bike, because then you break parts and you have to spend $200 on one part to fix it, and then who's the mad one? Not the bike, because you had to spend money to fix a part because you threw your bike. So just don't save yourself the hassle and don't throw the bike. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Drop test, tight test, air pressure, spokes. Did I miss one? Drop test, tight test, tire test, spokes. Oh, I skipped one. I'll be literate. If you enjoyed this video, you know what I'm saying, hit that like button, hit the sub button down below. Because for the next week, I will be doing sit-down videos because I work entirely too much and I won't have time to ride. So get used to seeing my face looking at a lens in my room. Anyway, I'm out.